Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing a video on my thoughts on Loki Season 2 trailer, I might add, because the show doesn't come out until the 6th of October, here in the UK at least. I think that's when it's coming out here in the UK. And as of this recording, it's the 6th of August 2023. Yeah, it's kind of ironic that Disney at some point will have a Doctor Who on Disney Plus, because outside of the UK at least, because Loki is very Doctor Who-esque in my opinion. And that, I think generally speaking, when Doctor Who fans, myself included, say that we want the show a bit more experimental, or a series or a season what's a bit more experimental, I think this is the sort of tone that we're looking for. This sort of wacky, really does feel like anything could happen week to week sort of thing, but yeah, it was odd looking back on season 1 of Loki. I haven't rewatched it since it came out, unfortunately. I haven't got around to doing that, but I did just check how many episodes there were on Disney Plus, and yesterday or the day before, and there's only 6 episodes per presumably maybe per season, which is kind of mad to think like it'll have 2 seasons but only maybe 12 episodes total, but then the episodes are like 50 to like 55 minutes in length, so you're getting up to nearly movie length, although most movies these days are like 2.5 hours, which is just disgusting in my humble opinion, but but yeah, I like the fact that the guy who plays Short Round / Waymond from Everything Everywhere All at Once is in this, which is kind of brilliant casting on their part, because he's obviously been in a film dedicated to everything going sideways, like a very cosmic, sort of multiversal, transdimensional sort of film, so hopefully he is used to that sort of stuff by now. But yeah, I don't know why, but the colour palette for this show I always associate with brown and orange. And orange I don't mind because it's actually my favourite colour, so yeah, I have no issue with that. Very fast-paced trailer. It's only like just under 3 minutes, I'd say, like nearly 3 minute long trailer, but it packs in a lot, packs a big punchy trailer. I like the fact that towards the latter end of the trailer there's like, he says something, I can't remember what. I've watched the trailer like anywhere between 2 and 4 times, but not a lot. 2 to 4 times I've watched the trailer in the last day or so, or the last couple of days, and it's a bit where he says something and he's like walking across, and then the camera is panning, and then it says like Loki but in like different texts, but it like pops up in the background and then it fades to the Loki logo, and I really like that. Very sort of stylistic choice, quirky, different, unique, all of the above really. I like that Sylvie, I think, female Loki, Sylvie, is in this again, although she seems to have a different hairdo, which is weird because I didn't like the hairdo that she had before. It looks a lot shorter and frizzier. She looks a lot more like the Scoops Ahoy girl, who I don't know the name of the actress for the life of me, and I couldn't be bothered googling her name either. But she looks like her, and she looks like she's working at like a 1980s McDonald's, Macca's, in Mackie D's in one shot, which I thought was really interesting and funny. They've got this sort of Victorian aesthetic at one point, this sort of like wearing bowler hats, Loki, Tom Hiddleston, is that his name? I can't remember now. But him and the guy who, Owen Wilson, I think his name is, the guy who plays like Mobius, I think that's his name, I can't remember now. But plays like the good cop to Loki's bad cop, I suppose. But it's funny because I don't even really associate either of them as good cop or bad cop, more like sort of like less effective cop and more aggressive cop. You know, one's more violent, the other's more passive, and they kind of make a point about that in the trailer, which I thought was quite interesting. You know, because he goes, "Well, you're the prince, no, yeah, king, prince, whatever he says, of chaos, or like of mischief, not chaos, mischief." Is the word he uses, and then he goes on and be like, well, I just take more of a passive or peaceful approach to things, or thoughtful approach to things, and or slower approach to things, and then he's like eating like a pie or whatever, and that yeah. Yeah, there seems to be some interesting twists and turns. I think the first one, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this, which I probably am, but I feel like the first one was leading up to that new Ant-Man film with like Kang or whatever. Loki season 1. Who knows what this is leading up to now, because I don't even know like what is going on with the MCU in terms of the movies coming out. Like, I have no idea. I mean, your guess is as good as mine, which is kind of ironic considering San Diego Comic-Con just happened a bit ago of this recording. But yeah, I think hopefully Loki season 2 will be good. Or if it's all like the first one, then I think it's building on a good foundation. Even if it doesn't hit all of the marks for me, or even if it's just sort of, for lack of a better term, more of the same, then I think that should suffice, because it had a lot of fun with, and I think that's something that I commended it for back in the day. The first season, it had a lot of fun, and it didn't take itself too seriously, and it questioned who Loki is now as a character, sort of after sort of Endgame and Infinity War, or Infinity War and Endgame, and those sorts of the big heavy hitters, which were, in my mind, supposed to be the end of the MCU, and it's still just going, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, I think it could be interesting, yeah. And then there's the like big Penny character, that like hologram thing turns huge, and I love that, because as a character design, because it's very sort of 1920s, 1940s, 50s ish, sort of like proper Betty Boop retro, like sort of Cuphead like art style, and it's voiced by Timmy Turner, I was going to say Tina Fey then, not Tara Strong, I think, voices that, and I think that's awesome. Bonus points for that, I guess. I think the reason why a lot of people associate this with Doctor Who is because Tom Hiddleston's wearing a very traditional sort of black, sort of long coat, so there is something very Doctor Who-y about him in that sense, but also the fact that it's like he's working for a time agency. So, I mean, by that logic, it's more kind of like Amy, or more like Torchwood, I guess. But then, by the same token, it's not as bloody and gory, sexualized and bloody and gory, whereas it's more sort of fast-paced, fun action adventure for the family. And so I guess in that sense, it's more like Doctor Who, I guess. And the fact that, I wouldn't say it's time travel, but they can kind of like jump between timelines, as it were, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, via these like doorway things, and I can't for the life of me remember how they conjure them up, but I assume there's some sort of like maybe device that they have at the TVC or TVA or whatever it was called. But yeah, I think that's kind of interesting and cool, and then the fact that maybe the timeline is fucked basically because of Kang, or because of whoever the most recent big bad in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is. I don't know, because I can't even really remember the last Marvel movie I went to see at the cinema. I think it was Black Widow, but that didn't really seem to tie in with anything, I don't think. Or if it did, it wasn't very obvious to me what it tied into. But yeah, there's quite a bit of a quick cut montagey bit towards the latter end of the trailer There's a bit where he like seems to be either pushed or jumping into a boat, but it's like a very ye olde sort of rowboat. There's a bit where like, yeah, he's like over the montagey bit at the end, he's like, you know, going on about like, who do you decide to live and die and all this, and then it's like kind of like dramatic music, intensely sort of showing you some of the bigger name actors or guest stars or big players in the series might be, and that, you know, you've got like one of the TVA Time Cop people from the previous series, so there are nice connections to that, as well as I said earlier, Sylvie, the female Loki, seems to be in this, which is good, because I couldn't remember if she died in the previous one or if she survived, and even if she did, would they bring her back, would they not, I don't know. But yeah, and I like the bit where he's like, oh, when she says, oh, like, what we're doing, it makes us be like, it's making us out like we're gods, and then he just goes, well, we are gods, or whatever. I quite like that line, you know. Nice bit of action and that, you know, maybe a few nice, decent, funny bits, Marvel humour that actually lands, hopefully, and that, and yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a bit iffy about the whole, like, he seems to be getting sort of stretched out over the timelines or something. I'm not sure, one, why that's happening, two, the effect kind of looks a bit goofy and a bit silly to me, all over the top, and then thirdly, I just don't feel like what's that got to do with anything? Like, is this, does that directly continue on from where we left off in season 1? I can't remember, but, you know, and if not, then has there been a time jump from series to series? That could be interesting, you know, them alluding to the idea that he's already been on lots of missions and that he's an established agent almost, and then this one event in this series is why things have fucked up or something, or like a version of him goes back and fucks a timeline that causes him now to be, you know, split all over the place or something, because there is a bit about, like, you know, there's going to be a war or something, you know, and it's like, okay, interesting, I guess, but is there a reason thematically? Obviously there will be, but whether or not I feel like it's a justified one or being built up well is another thing. I'm hoping for my own peace of mind that there's the same sort of writers from the previous show. Apparently Loki season 1, although I haven't rewatched it, weirdly enough, is one of the most, if not the top most rewatched Disney Plus show. Even though I'll be honest, maybe I'm biased being a Star Wars fan, but I just assumed that it'd be Star Wars Mando season 1 or 2 of that'd be most rewatched thing on Disney Plus, but apparently it's been Loki so far. So yeah, might even get more people subscribed to Disney Plus for all I know. But yeah, that's about all I've got to say about that. Thanks for watching. Please do comment, rate and subscribe to the channel.